This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Next up, we've got Randy Orton versus Sheamus. Let's sort of set the stage for you. At Battleground, Randy Orton defeated Sheamus. And on the July 20th Raw, Orton, John Cena, and Cesaro would pick up wins over Sheamus, Kevin Owens, and Rusev. On the July 27th Raw, Sheamus would attack Orton during his match with Kevin Owens. On the August 3rd Raw, Orton, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns would beat Sheamus, Bray Wyatt, and Luke Harper. And a week later, on the 10th, we would see Orton defeat the world champ Seth Rollins by DQ because he was attacked by Sheamus, therefore not winning the championship. Sheamus then attempts to cash in his Money in the Bank contract, but he's stopped by Orton, and now we're here. They get plenty of time, 12 minutes and 13 seconds. Sheamus is going to get the win here. He's going to start out by yelling at the crowd for chanting, "You look stupid." He's sporting an interesting haircut and Fu Manchu here. Sheamus gets a near fall with a knee drop off the top rope, and Meltzer would describe it as a slow, deliberate match. He says there's nothing wrong with it, but it was clearly a couple of notches down from their match last month. And in the end, you know what's coming. It's a missed RKO. Sheamus hits 2 bro kicks and pins him clean in the middle. Meltzer says, considering Orton had just beat Kevin Owens and Cesaro at the same time, had the champ Seth Rollins beaten a title match, and then beat Sheamus the next night on Raw, this finish made less than 0 sense, except they don't know how to build momentum and only know how to play your turn booking. So pretty critical of the decision here to not just keep the momentum with Randy Orton. And I think we've heard a lot of people over the years, more recent years, say the WWE is too reliant on what they're calling 50-50 booking. So you win, I win, you win. Do you think that's a fair criticism? And what did you think of this match here with Sheamus and Randy Orton? Did the wrong guy win?
Well, you bet your ass. I was one of the proponents of probably the first one to say in this 50-50, and I'm talking way back when. You know, one for me and one for you, nobody gets over. You know, this is my analogy the first time I used it. And I said, you know, here's where we're getting, Vince. We're getting to the point where all the talent are 8-8. Now, if you put that in football jargon, you're going to get behind a team that's 8-8. Nobody gives a shit about the guy that's 8-8.
Right.
The one that's 12-0 is the one that I'm either going to love to see get beat or be 13-0. But when everyone's 8-8, they all mean the same, which means they mean nothing. And I couldn't get that. That was exactly how I proposed it and laid it out and presented it. And it was met with less than favorable response. But this was one of those deals, if you look at it, and sometimes you can skip ahead till today and then go back and see the finishes that occurred back then and go, okay, well, who's the hottest heel in the country right now? In the business, for that matter.
I mean,
Randy Orton, right?
Yeah.
When you say?
Yeah.
Certainly the hottest heel in their company. So you should have went back to that particular point in time, and you should have probably had Randy building momentum. Period. He should have went over in that match. I agree.
Next up, we've got Dolph Ziggler working with Rusev. They only get 2.5 stars here. It's a double count out and 11 minutes, 50 seconds. Meltzer says match was okay. Lana is out of business suits and into a jean dress and jean top style. A lot of good moves here. Rusev showed great agility with a spin kick. Either way, you get the idea. Ziggler's going to super kick Rusev outside of the ring over the announcer's table, but Ziggler was still hurt from the accolade, and neither could beat the 10 count in the ring, and the crowd starts booing that loudly. Ziggler's beating on Rusev after the match, but Summer is going to attack Ziggler. Then Lana attacks Summer, and Rusev and Ziggler pull them apart. 2.5 stars. You know, you got 2 big time talents here. You know, Dolph had one of the biggest receptions ever the night after WrestleMania several years ago when he cashed in and won the world title. I mean, just a deafening pop, Stone Cold Steve Austin level stuff. And Rusev was so hot, he rode a fucking tank to the ring to take on John Cena. And a double count out here at a big pay-per-view. I don't know, man. It feels like a missed opportunity. What say you?
Back to 8-8.
Yeah.
Who cares? Double count out on that match. You should have had a finish. That's it. Which guy you going with? Figure it out. Should have a finish on that match. To have a double count out is just as flat as it can possibly be. And when it's all said and done, who got over? Answer is nobody.
Right. Let me ask, it does feel like after, we know that when Dolph won that world title after WrestleMania years ago, I think it was 2013. I may have that wrong. But he had the big cash in, the big moment. He's the world champ. Not too long after, he has a concussion situation and they have to make a pivot and do something else. It doesn't feel like he's got whatever momentum he had to become the world champion since, but it does feel like he's the fail-safe. Hey, we're not sure what to do with this guy. Oh, put him with Ziggler. Do you think Ziggler has become like a crutch for WWE booking, or maybe Vince McMahon? Like, hey, well, we're not sure who we can count on. We can count on Ziggler, but we can't count on him to be the top guy. Do you think that's the way they view him? Because it doesn't feel like he's been given that same opportunity really since then.
Well, I don't think they would admit that, but in the back of their mind, they probably believe that. He has fell into that terrible, terrible void of, man, he's a hell of a hand.
Right.
Which in our business is a compliment to the boys, to each other, when they say it about each other. But when the office says it, it's the kiss of death, which means your job is a star maker. You're not a star. And there's Dolph Ziggler could have a job for the next 15 years, probably, if he wanted it, because he is that good and he knows his job and he can go out and have a great match with anybody. But the fact of the matter is, it was up until the time he won the world title. And after that, he was just a hell of a hand. And that's bad deal to come from the office to you. When you hear that, plan on being the first match after intermission. Now, if you really are a hell of a hand, you'll be there as long as you want to be. But that's what that is, and that's where Dolph is positioned. It's a damn shame because, man, he's really, really good.
He is. I mean, he's like this generation's Mr. Perfect. And
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.